my husband and I were married very young, and I didn't have a chance for a formal education in the arts. And but I was always an artist ever since I was a child. I was doing pen and inks and pencils and that type of thing. But my husband became very successful in his career, and Franco, and we had a small racing stable at Hialeah Racetrack. So Frank and I'd be out there doing sketches of all the horses and the trainers and that type of thing. And they decided off racetrack meet. They were doing the movie The Champ with John Voight and Faye Dunaway, and Franco Zeffirelli was the director. So they asked some of the small racing stables, such as ours, to be a part of the movie. And of course we were all excited. And so during production and everything, I was sitting in the background while they were doing their shoots, and I'd be doing sketches. And John Voight approached me and said, Pam, I noticed you do a lot of artwork and sketches. He said, I want you to do a sketch of me and Randy Cobb, who was a professional boxer, ex-heavyweight champion. And he said, I want you to sketch us down at the gym, down in South Street Gym, where Muhammad Ali and people like that were boxing. And I was so flabbergasted. I said, but I'm not. And my trainer walked up, my horse trainer walked up and said, oh yeah, Pam can do that. She could do anything. And I'm like, I'm not a professional artist, you know. So anyway, I went down there and did some sketches, and John was a little bit full of himself, pumping iron and getting ready for the big fighting match and everything. So he was asking Randy to do things that Randy couldn't do. And he wanted to have a match. And Randy said, no, I can't do that, John. I'm a professional, and these hands are weapons, you know. I cannot do that. And so John wouldn't take no for an answer, and he kept pushing him. And Randy finally went, bip, and got him right in the nose. And he flew across the ring, and I'm sketching away, and he's laying over the ropes, and he says, don't sketch that, with the blood gushing out of his nose. And I'm like, okay.
That's funny. That's a funny story. So it went on from there.
So anyway, I went back to the stable and everything, and took care of my horses. And 3 weeks later, after his nose healed, and they resumed with the movie. He came in the stall and said, Pam, I want you to, about those, and I said, oh, I destroyed the sketches. I didn't give them to anybody. Nope, you know. So he said, no, I want you to do a sculpture of me and your horse and Ricky Schroeder all together. And I'm like, and Grover came in again, my trainer, and said, oh yeah, Pam can do that. She can do anything. I'm like, what are you doing to me? So John went out the stall, and I said, Grover, I've never done a sculpture. I'm not a professional. I don't have any training. He said, easy. Just go to the library, get a couple of books, and you got it. And like a fool, that's what I did. And I did the sculpture of John Voight, the horse, and Ricky Schroeder all together. And that's how I got started. And I took it to the foundry to have it cast in bronze. And the owners at the foundry said, oh, yeah, this is really a nice piece. How long have you been doing this? I said, this is my first bronze. And they said, what? Where did you go to school? I didn't. What? So anyway, it was kind of a fairy tale. I mean, it just blossomed into this, what I do today. When I started doing commissions and horses, everybody wanted their horse to look exactly like Secretariat. So I said, I'm not doing any more commissions. So anyway, plus I wanted to do other things, so I started doing wildlife and then other wildlife with figurative work, and just blossomed, kept and I always wanted to experiment with new materials, and I started doing paper castings. This, the piece behind me is styrofoam, and Home Depot is my art department now. I get all my things from Home Depot rather than go to these really expensive art departments and stores. But it's a 2-inch thick sheet of styrofoam that is used for housing materials to put in the walls and that type of thing. And what I do, I cut out sections and then build it up with styro glue. And this sheet here is just one sheet, and there's 81 pieces that I cut out, and then I put it back together. It's like a giant jigsaw puzzle, which I had nightmares about. But anyway, and then I telescope the pieces from the center forward, and that gives it a bigger depth of 2 inches. It's now up to about 8 inches. So that's how I put that together, but it's cutting out in a lot of sanding, sand. But it was a fun piece to do because it has a nice flow, and I was thinking basically of the ocean and the sky. And how I start a project like this is I take a piece of insulation foam, and I take a soldering iron to make my images. And then I'll take a hot wax needle to do the smaller images. When that's all finished, I'll take paper pulp that's made out of cotton linterd. And it's all pulverized and very wet. And I'll pat it and press it in there until it dries. And then it basically pops itself out when it's dry because it shrinks. Being cotton, it'll shrink. And when that's done, I'll either leave it plain, like I have a piece down there that's plain, or I'll paint it out. But this technique, I haven't seen, I've seen other artists use styrofoam in their work, but I haven't seen them do this. So I think I invented it.